I have a few suggestions that may help you on your way to a better world. And while these lessons were learned during my time in the military, I can assure you that it matters not whether you ever served a day in uniform. It matters not your gender, your ethnic or religious background, your orientation, or your social status. Our struggles in this world are similar, and the lessons to overcome those struggles and to move forward, changing ourselves and changing the world around us, will apply equally to all. So here are the 10 lessons I learned from basic SEAL training that hopefully will be of value to you as you move forward in life. Every morning in SEAL training, my instructors, who at the time were all Vietnam veterans, would show up in my barracks room, and the first thing they'd do was inspect my bed. If you did it right, the corners would be square, the covers would be pulled tight, the pillow centered just under the headboard, and the extra blanket folded neatly at the foot of the rack. It was a simple task, mundane at best, but every morning we were required to make our bed to perfection. It seemed a little ridiculous at the time, particularly in light of the fact that we were aspiring to be real warriors, tough, battle-hardened SEALs. But the wisdom of this simple act has been proven to me many times over. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. During SEAL training, the students are all broken down into boat crews. Each crew is 7 students, 3 on each side of a small rubber boat, and 1 coxswain to help guide the dinghy. Every day your boat crew forms up on the beach and is instructed to get through the surf zone and paddle several miles down the coast. In the winter, the surf off San Diego can get to be 8 to 10 feet high, and it is exceedingly difficult to paddle through the plunging surf unless everyone digs in. Every paddle must be synchronized to the stroke count of the coxswain. Everyone must exert equal effort, or the boat will turn against the wave and be unceremoniously dumped back on the beach. For the boat to make it to its destination, everyone must paddle. You can't change the world alone. You will need some help. And to truly get from your starting point to your destination takes friends, colleagues, the goodwill of strangers, and a strong coxswain to guide you. If you want to change the world, find someone to help you paddle. Over a few weeks of difficult training, my SEAL class, which started with 150 men, was down to just 42. There were now 6 boat crews of 7 men each. I was in the boat with the tall guys, but the best boat crew we had was made up of the little guys, the Munchkin crew, we called them. No one was over 5'5". The Munchkin boat crew had 1 American Indian, 1 African American, 1 Polish American, 1 Greek American, 1 Italian American, and 2 tough kids from the Midwest. They out-paddled, outran, and outswam all the other boat crews. The big men in the other boat crews would always make good-natured fun of the tiny little flippers the Munchkins put on their tiny little feet prior to every swim. But somehow these little guys from every corner of the nation and the world always had the last laugh, swimming faster than everyone and reaching the shore long before the rest of us. SEAL training was a great equalizer. Nothing mattered but your will to succeed, not your color, not your ethnic background, not your education, not your social status. If you want to change the world, measure a person by the size of their heart, not by the size of their flippers.
The first one is MLA Singh. So we just decided to come to the MLA that is in the district of Pastor Arts Church. Good idea. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Dad, do you want to tell them what's going on?
Yeah, we're going ahead again and putting out the petition. And we've gone through these before. You can find them at dsrcaresconsulting.com/the CARES Project Action Plan. And you can go and see the full petition there. You can download it. I would suggest everybody read it and see the information, because it shows a lot of the criminal activity that's going on in the courts, what they're doing with Arthur, what they did with me, what they covered up. They covered up like outright money laundering and forgery and fraud. Just so that people can see that. This is what they'll do in Canada. There's the title of my house. Then you can see that there's somebody trying to sit there and say that they're selling it on behalf of me, which I did not authorize this. You can see where my name is there. That's not my signature, that's my ex-wife's signature. This was then done again. This was then put before a judge. They discharged the mortgage with this fraud. And then after, and the forged documents. And then after, it was put before a judge. And the judge signed off on that forged document and the fraud. And then they said, transferred the title of my house after the fact. That's money laundering. This is what's happened. This is what you do in Canada. They do in Canada when you go against the government. They strip you of everything, and then they take you in the court and they block you from it so you can't complain. And then with these new bills, they will then shut you up for hate speech, and they will imprison you. And they will cut off your internet and your phone when you try to complain. So it's time to do something. So let's go to the MLA. Actually, let's pray.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Holy Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. And Father, open the door of mercy for someone to hear and to do what is right, and allow this to get into the hands of the people, right people that will do something and help the people who would stand up, and that they would continue to keep these government accountable, because if we don't do it ourselves, no one will do it for us. And raise up men and women to do what is right and to continue to stand forward. And bless us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right. Let's see.
The floor.
Hello? Hi.
Hi.
Is the MLA in?
Yeah, he is. I'll be calling.
Can you speak with me, please?
And your name?
Dale Richardson.
Dale Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please take a seat.
Thanks.
Go ahead, I'll sit over.
Yeah. Okay. And we wait. Yeah. At least they're in this time. Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Singh is an MLA, but I can take your information and we can make it happen for you guys to come.
How long is he gonna be in the meeting for?
He has a few phone calls to make to constituents, and
This
he's
is,
just came back.
this is something that he wanted to deal with right away because, this is going to be a big problem for this party because of what's going on out there in Alberta.
For sure, I'll grab your information.
Should we make it?
Sure.
Can I grab you guys coffee, water?
Sure, but you're gonna have to take these for him anyway.
Okay.
And, because I'm going to give you some idea of what was going on. We've got a problem here in Alberta. And I'll play this for you. This is,
That it was taking sexual advantage of me, and it was manipulation. I feel like you did not set that, like you have not acknowledged that. Like you said you wanted to go into detail because there's things you don't understand. But when I tell you that's what it was, and you said before that's what it would have been, you don't directly say that yes, I took sexual advantage of you and manipulated you. Like, I don't
Yes, I took
understand.
sexual advantage and manipulated you.
okay, so this man goes into detail later on in audio that was supplied to the RCMP that
Okay.
my daughter was tortured, and so was I. And he took her while I was strapped to a bed and drugged against my will in Saskatchewan, and brought her out to Turner Valley, or Black Diamond, and sexually assaulted her, and described in detail the circumstances as knowing that if he had sex with my daughter under those conditions, that it would be rape. And he admitted multiple times that he had taken advantage of her sexually, which is an admission to sexual assault. And this was turned over to the RCMP along with some other documents.
Okay.
And he was part of the human trafficking where he took my daughter from here while I was drugged to the United States and handed her over to the border guards, who then put her, which is Métis, handed her over to the border guards, put her in immigration detention for 7 months, put her on a tracking program, made her live with single American men where she was drugged, beaten, and raped multiple times. And then when she got out, and I went to go help her, I went to the border, I was taken into custody, taken to Colorado, deprived of due process, and when I was taken at the border, Robert Canada went straight to South Carolina and sexually assaulted her again. And then he tried to do it a third time, which is when I found out about it, and I told her to call the police in Austin, Texas, because the FBI had directed her to come there. Now, this information that was all there, that was why this happened, was there was this engineering report that I put together. I'm a mechanical engineering technologist. I have a Bachelor of Technology, majoring in engineering and applied science.
Do you want to come take a seat?
Sure. Yep, let's do that. Water is fine. So.
Oh,
now,
thank you.
Now, with this, I ended up, now you can sit down and look at this and see that this is quite thorough, right? And I outlined that the engineering controls that were used came from the Public Health Agency of Canada, used in Saskatchewan, and then it came from the CDC, that they took out the efficiency, which made it impossible to work. It gave it out to people that use these in dental clinics and medical clinics. This was used for infection controls. They didn't work, impossible, right? This is what I brought forward, and then I also proposed a solution using existing technology that would reduce the spread and transmission of disease, where it would have kept the churches and small businesses open. Now, they said that in the province of Saskatchewan, from CBC. They said in the first round of lockdowns, the average business lost $156,000. That would break the backs of most small businesses. This could have been prevented. So when I went and I reported this, because it was at the very least criminal negligence, and I went as far as, this was my capstone and my thesis for my mechanical engineer, Bachelor of Technology, Engineering and Applied Science.
And this is written by you?
This is written by me, and it was done under the guidance of 3 professional engineers and PhDs. And then I showed what happened, and I began to look at what happened in the courts. Because I reported this on July 3rd of 2020.
Okay.
Right? So they should have went back and said, why are you deviating from proper engineering controls in the pandemic response? And this came down from the Public Health Agency of Canada.
Okay.
That's step 1 of the pandemic response. It's a crime. Right? At the very least, criminal negligence, but after watching what happened, it's deliberate intent. So they did nothing. I got shut at a detachment. So I went ahead and I sued them. But then there was a divorce hearing that happened. And like I said, what I showed you there. So the police were told, and it says right here, that the court told them to keep me out of court the day before the court, right? And so you see there's an occurrence report for resisted arrest for July 22nd of 2020, but the arrest took place on July 23rd of 2020, which they said before the court. The court directed them. They said they don't know where I am, but they told them to keep me out of court.
Okay.
Right?
This was, sorry, when
This
was
is this was in 2020.
In 2020?
Yep. And so then, and then this is the COVID hearing. Like they copy and pasted this. This is not even lawful, right?
Okay.
So you're watching them do God knows what, right? And then said that I was put over sine die when they strapped me to a bed and drugged me against my will. This is the bed that I was put on. And let's look at here. We have, this is what the woman said here. She said she said that she had told me to submit. But here she said that she didn't have an opportunity to speak, but followed up and moved forward with it. And then she swore that I refused to submit to an examination. It is impossible for me to refuse something that I was never offered.
Okay.
This is what she said. This is instantly torture because I got strapped to a bed and I was drugged on that bed. While I was on that bed, my daughter was taken out by that man that you heard admitting to sexually assaulting her. While I was there, he took her out to the middle Black Diamond in the middle of nowhere, and he sexually assaulted her. Right? And these are all the circumstances. And the RCMP have been refusing to deal with this. I've gone to the Civilian Reviewing Complaints Commission. They covered up when I tried to go in. She was in the States because she was being traveled. They ended up going to Florida to go to report this. They dropped the ball. They didn't notarize the statements. They didn't send the information over properly. They didn't sell the evidence. They didn't send the body cam footage. Then they tried to put it on me, right? I go report it to Ottawa. Well, guess what? Ottawa does nothing like they normally do. So this ends up happening in this situation. So with this, they should have reassessed the whole pandemic response July 3rd of 2020 when they made those complaints. Instead, they arrested me, they tortured me, they stripped me of everything. My youngest daughter, she's going to be 7, right? I haven't seen her for 5.5 years. She was already abducted, and I tried to report this to RCMP, won't investigate it because they're trying to sit down and say that the order that was made after she was abducted was actually lawful. But then the court told them to keep me out of court, and then they tortured me, and then they stripped me of everything. Then they took the fraudulent documents. So I came over to Alberta because I had no place to live, and I came in there and I was trying to deal with stuff. And because the RCMP here in Alberta pulled the occurrence reports. My sister used to work for the RCMP here in the K Division at the Stephen Duncan building before they moved over to Airdrie. She said that warrant, those men should have been arrested, right? So you have somebody that worked for there, and anybody who has any lick of understanding knows that you can't resist arrest the day before the arrest happens. You have to have the arrest before the crime, right? And we had a video of the arrest. There was no arrest. Resisting, they grabbed my daughter, threw her on the ground. She had her backpack, dragged her away, and then they interrogated her for hours over my engineering report, right?
And this is all because of the report that you had.
Yes, my mother and I tried to go in and put it in to Lloydminster at the direction of the Battle for RCMP. We both got assaulted. My mother's 75 years old. They threw us out detachment, right? This is the type of reception that's happened. Now we go over to Alberta. Now you have Rook, Associate Chief Justice Rook. He made those orders May 6th that went off against, that ended up reason why Chris Scott from the Whistle Stop and Pastor Artur Pulowski got charged with, and then they got run through the ringer. Well, because of my report demonstrating that they did the pandemic response wrong and that the Public Health Agency of Canada and the federal government directing the provinces were in the wrong, those orders would have been invalid. So guess what happens when I go to court? Donald Nedolitsky, this man needs to be arrested and investigated because he has information of all these criminal activity that was going on. And in the Federal Court of Canada, they were saying I got service that I could not, which I'll actually show. They said I acknowledged service that I did not get. They had to change the date. This is all in here.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good.
Hi.
And then,
How are you doing today?
How about you?
so then
Yeah.
when I came in there and I started to put this in to file
I have
about
got,
what happened.
my meeting is ended. I've got 15 minutes here.
Oh.
Okay. So I filed what was happening, and Rook made this entire complete false narrative of what happened, barred my daughter who was in the court, from the court when she was in the United States being trafficked, right? And so forth. And then her lawyers that were doing her accident case from previously, they pulled out on her so that she wouldn't have any finances. Her ex-husband who beat her and was convicted, they gave him the money, left her high and dry. And right now he's being under investigation because the RCMP reached out for another incident tied to something that happened in Eastern Canada, right? So you're looking at this situation. My daughter's Métis, right? And then you look at what happened to this would have had, the information that I provided here would have mean that Rook's orders would have been struck down. They ended up basically stripping me of all rights, but Donald Nedolitsky was the one who was dealing with the complex litigation for the King's Bench of Alberta. I took it from I had the pictures from their X account that they then pulled, they shut it down after the conversation about Nedolitsky and what he was doing was brought forward. Now this guy should be prosecuted because people are dead. $1.7 trillion of damage has been done to the Canadian economy because of this, and they help conceal this. They help conceal torture, human trafficking, and trafficking of children, because I was tortured, my daughter was abducted, and then the court sanctioned that crime and restricted her ability and her movements while I was tortured. That's an aggravating factor. That's a life sentence for everybody involved. That's trafficking of a person's, it meets the elements of the crime. It doesn't matter where it happens. And they sit down and they talk about the judicial system. Judges are not above the law. They do not have the right to allow people to be tortured. And we went under Article 13 of the Convention Against Torture. The RCMP still won't take her statement about the torture. They still won't take statement about assaults. But when somebody makes up something, they encourage them to make up false narratives about myself and my daughter. And then you're watching what they did to Artur. They tortured that man over false orders and continued to persecute him, knowing full well that they had the information in the possession of the court that should have removed those orders.
Excuse me, just wait 2 minutes here. My name is Petition, MLA for Calgary
Yes.
East. So I was just in a meeting there when
Yes.
you came in here. I got about 15 minutes.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that I
Yes.
acknowledge that you are here right now.
Yes.
And something I can help you out here.
Yes.
And we can definitely, just brief me up so I understand what it is before I jump into my
I
meeting.
brought in, this is a petition for redress of grievances.
Okay.
And it's signed by me, my daughter, Keisha, Artur Pulowski, and Derek Reimer.
Okay.
And you're seeing a whole progression of events that started with me, went with Archie, and now with Derek, where the government and the judicial system is involved in torture, cruel and unusual punishment, and persecution. Because everything that we have in common between the three of us, who were completely unrelated, is that we're Christians. Now, cruel and unusual punishment is not permissible. I was outright tortured. I showed your assistant where the woman lied and said that I refused to submit to an examination, except she never told me about that. And then went and swore that into before a judge to have me arrested and strapped to a bed and drugged against my will. But I was taking them to court because I reported the engineering controls that they were using for the COVID pandemic response. I'm a mechanical engineering technologist. I have a Bachelor of Technology major in engineering and applied sciences. My literal focus of my degree is if you want technology to work to do something, I research and ensure that it works as the way it intended. So when it came down to getting the right things to help mitigate the disease, I'm the guy that you would call. This is literally my specialty. So I did this under the guidance of 3 professional engineers with PhDs, one of them being my program head through Memorial University of Newfoundland. So I have the standing to do so. I'm a member of ASHRAE, been so for like 7 years or so.
Is this with the courts right now?
No, it's not with the courts. I'm not talking about the actions of what the court did, like with the documents or the decision. I'm talking about the actions that they took to suppress. The actions that we have a 269.1 of the Criminal Code, torture. There's a no defense clause. And also with the Convention Against Torture, we have the right to complain and to be free from retaliation. The court system and the law enforcement have been retaliating against me for 5 years. I showed where they used forged documents where they had my ex-wife sign my name and her name, and you can see that she's listed as a buyer, crossed the name up, put it out as a seller, removed me, went ahead, sold the house, and then went and used the Land Titles Act and put this forged document before a judge, and she signed off on it. That's money laundering. You're taking the proceeds of crime and trying to use the courts to legitimize it. Now that is a crime. This is not anything to do with decisions of the court. People try to sit down and tell me that. I'm like, that's a crime. So if a judge told somebody to rape somebody, that they were going to sit down and say that's a court issue? No, this is no different. They committed a crime. They used the bench to do it. They also concealed the torture, right? Now they did this. Now you go to Archer. This, what I've brought forward, the engineering report, because no judge has the authority under the Judges Act to override me. They need to get somebody like me with the same standing to go ahead and refute this. But they didn't. They went ahead and created a narrative to say that it was crazy. Now, obviously, everybody here can understand I'm speaking coherently, but whenever this information goes in front of a judge or law enforcement, suddenly it becomes gibberish. But this was published, and it was graded, right? So how is everybody else able to do this, but when it comes to them, it magically becomes gibberish, right? So
one thing I just can we if you want me to listen to the entire thing, I will need to book an appointment for you to come 1 hour. Or is she? When is the next appointment for you? Who's coming next? 11, so you still have some time.
Yeah.
So you can, I will be going in a meeting,
yes.
But I will definitely want to, if you want to come again here, I can book an appointment with you so we can sit down and listen to complete thing without any distractions.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that with what happened here, I'm just going to briefly continue.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's
with what happened with Derek Ryder, and I was sitting at the court, when the judge took the criminal harassment charge, a 90-second conversation. She didn't meet the elements of the crime, right? So when she used what she did was she used the power of the bench to try to make him capitulate for his religious convictions, right? Without meeting the elements of the crime. Because criminal harassment, when we've been 2.5 years of people threatening us, coming after us over and over again, recruiting people on both sides of the border, coming after us like crazy, and they won't deal with the criminal harassment. This guy's a 90-second conversation, about this stuff. And I can tell you right now, I talked to a guy in California who, name is Alvin Lee. He's been watching how they implement what they have called here SOGI, what they call social emotional learning. They use the same tactics as child sex traffickers, right? And I look at it and I can see the elements of that. And they're using tax dollars to facilitate the sexual and financial exploitation of children, and that is prohibited by law. So when you're looking at our tax dollars to be grooming children to be trafficked, that is a huge no-no. So when Derek Reimer is talking about protection of children, he gets arrested and then he gets punished with jail, and that's destroying his family. That's very minimum, cruel and unusual punishment, but it meets the threshold for mental torture, because physical confinement is forced. He didn't get physically beaten, but the psychological harm, not only to himself, but to his family.
Yeah.
Now, Article 13 of the Convention Against Torture gives us the right to complain to anybody. And since the judicial branch, the law enforcement, and other entities, even people within the governments in different provinces, different federally, and so forth, have been involved in this, because the Attorney General of Canada signed off knowing full well of all of this information. And the woman, Lynn Lovitz, has a background in national security, declared me a vexatious litigant in the federal court after they followed what Rook did. And everybody used Rook's orders because he was protecting himself. And it wasn't even coming from Rook, it came from Donald Nedolitsky, who was people that had their orders overturned. An inquiry needs to be done, because I gave this to Petition to Daniel Smith's office last year of similar information.
Did they respond to you? Or?
No, they did not. They ignored it. And everybody ignored it. And I gave it to Chantal Dejean. I gave it to a number of people. They all ignored it. But the fact of the matter is that this is an issue. People are being tortured. My daughter ended up getting beaten, drugged, and raped even further. There are videos of her being raped and trafficked as a result, because people kept quiet. And all those RCMP that are not doing their job, they're involved in human trafficking. And this is happening in the province of Alberta, and they're doing this, and they're torturing people. They're going after Christians, and now when you're looking at Bill C8 and C9, people are going to get killed. They're going to get destroyed, and they're going to get unjustly persecuted like they are right now, because this happened in 2020 with me. Then it went to Archer, and then it went down to Derek Reimer. And it's happening. I sent this to the Crown. And when I sent it to the Crown, then they sat down and said, and I'll play it for you. I'll let you listen to it yourself. And this is what the man said.
Acknowledge that he was taking sexual advantage of and manipulation. I feel like you've not said that. Like, you have not acknowledged that. Like, you said you wanted to go into detail because there's things you don't understand. But when I tell you that's what it was, and you said before that's what it would have been, you don't directly say that, yes, I took sexual advantage of you and manipulated you. Like, I don't understand.
I took sexual advantage and manipulated you.
And this is talking about when he took her from North Battleford to Turner Valley and sexually assaulted her after she was pissing herself after being interrogated and tortured about this information, and I was strapped to a bed and drugged against my will. And he's like, well, if you don't do what I say, I'm not going to help your father. I'm going to leave him there strapped to that bed. And she didn't know what to do. So he completely exploited her. The RCMP had this information. The first ones that we talked to in Okotos, when we told them what happened and what was going on in the States, said they needed to coordinate with both sides of the border so that they could properly investigate the trafficking, because they don't smuggle people across the border anymore. They hand them over to the border guards. Talked to a guy named J.J. Carroll, worked at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency for 28 years. And they all understand what they were doing to those illegal immigrant kids. Handing over ICE is what they did with my daughter. Right?
It's, I do understand, like, this is, it's really complex thing there, which we're going to have.
It is very complex.
It's not something is like yes or no. It's going to take some time to understand and take actions. Did you? I can definitely, I can definitely spend 1 hour more and understand what's like complete picture of it there, definitely I can book an appointment and to do it. But we have like Alberta government has the Ministry of Safety, Emergency and Safety. There's Mike Ellis.
Mike Ellis?
Mike Ellis is the minister there. The Minister of Alberta Justice, I'm the provincial MLA, I'm not the federal, you know that.
Yes, I understand. Because the federal government can't do anything.
Yeah. So
Section 92, subsection 14 of the Constitution Act says the administration of justice is in the exclusive control of the legislative assemblies of the provinces.
So the provincial Ministry of Justice is Minister Mickey Amiri.
Yes, I was at his office and I dropped this off.
Yeah, so he is in Calgary Cross. He's the Minister of Justice.
Yes.
Minister of Safety and Emergency and Safety is Mike Ellis, who's also the responsible for sheriffs and other things in Alberta. If there is things, this is like really big thing, you know.
Yes, and it was also tied to what happened with Jeff Colvin, because I was the one who helped put together the request for an ACER investigation when the RCMP were trying to frame him for crimes, which is exactly along the lines of this happening. And that's like, with what they did to him, that's it. That's election interference.
So that's law enforcement is under Mike Ellis.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, for this alone, just on this complaint, based on the Convention Against Torture, with you watching 4 different people, and 3 parties are independent of each other, this warrants an ACER investigation, and Mike Ellis should be going there, and they should be giving every single person in here the proper protection under the Convention Against Torture, because everyone knows that Canada does not have any mechanism for people to get remedy from torture. I have to go back to the jurisdiction that tortured me to deal with this.
Yeah. So I will say, is anytime you want to come here, you're most welcome to come to us, and I can book you for 1 hour, and I will give time, and you can just like completely.
Yes.
But this is my recommendation. If you can get appointment take appointment before you go with the Minister Mike Ellis and the staff. It will take everybody.
You know what? Actually, you should do, because when I go through this, it doesn't go through. But these are your colleagues, and you have the right, and you have the obligation to bring it forward and bring it to their attention, because the nature of what I'm telling you here is this is the worst things that could be happening in this country. So you should bring this forward and call a meeting with them, and get a meeting with us, and get a meeting with all the parties involved, so that we can bring our concerns, because this should be dealt with in a public manner. Because at the end of the day, it will come out one way or the other, and if the government here doesn't deal with it, people are going to feel that they're responsible.
I can definitely take your information, the information we can take it, and we can send to Mike Ellis' office there. But I will again suggest to you, just as you came to our office to take this appointment here, go to the office, take appointment, call them, take appointments. They will give appointment.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should also recommend that it be done, because
this is a big things here for me to understand. It will take me hours and hours. Like
I get
5, 6, or I don't know how many hours and days.
I get it. I understand, and I know this is going to take time. But because I came in here and I brought the complaint under the Convention Against Torture, we are supposed to have protection from retaliation, right? This has not happened in 5.5 years. It's not happened in almost 4 years with Arthur, and it's not happened at all. Derek Reimer is being put through the ringer right now under this, being persecuted by the courts as we speak. The judges do not have the right to persecute people politically. And that has to be put to a stop. And the Crown attorneys, they need to be directed. And Mickey Amory needs but he needs to direct them to properly investigate. Because when you hear a man admitting to sexually exploiting my daughter, and that's not an admission of guilt, anybody can understand it. He goes into detail, understanding the circumstances of what he did. and he's laying this out, right? That is insane. How is it that the law enforcement in this country protects rapists? Admitting it. And they're protecting people who are criminals, but the ones who try to protect their families are the ones who are getting imprisoned or getting strapped to a bed or thrown in jail. Because what Derek Reimer is the same thing. And I watched what happened to his son, destroying his family.
Yeah.
For what? Saying what he believes is right based on his Christian beliefs, and then now they want to make that hate speech because they took out the religious exemption. That this is insane.
You know, I will. Whatever you choose is your choice
Yes.
here. But I will definitely recommend you to go directly to them
We'll bring it forward.
and try to get an appointment with them. Appointment is the best thing for you to take from them because both of the ministries are located in Calgary. Mike Ellis is in southwest
That's
here,
okay, yeah.
not too far away, and the
Still
Mickey
something we
Ameli's
can
do.
office is just down
Yeah,
here.
we did draw papers off there, but he was in Edmonton.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was supposed to be in Edmonton too, but I came around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night. So everybody was supposed to. We just finished the session yesterday. The session ended at about 6 o'clock, but there was some other meetings going on. I finished.
Yes,
it
that
and
is
I
true,
went to
yes.
come here. But I was able to come here, but they still continue because they are in ministries.
Do
They
you
will
have a card I
continue
can
to
email you as a
lower
copy as
low.
well if I need
Yeah.
to share it with anybody
Yeah,
else?
So, but
So we can try to book an appointment there as
book an
well.
Yeah,
appointment.
maybe even just to follow up that they have, like,
Yeah.
he has received it now.
Yeah.
Because he should have.
And if you guys can talk
Yeah.
to them about it
So
too.
I will definitely
make an
follow up,
appointment
yeah.
in
Thank
both,
you.
both places.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So I have- there's
for me
some
to
more
understand,
sheets just for-
you'll be
Yeah.
you'll be giving all this
Yeah,
information to me,
understandable.
Yeah.
and that information I will take it there. Something will miss.
Okay.
If you go directly, sit down with them, and then explain to them, and see what they say. What they were. Both of them are like Mickey Ameri is Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Alberta,
Yeah.
and Mike Ellis is the Minister of Public Safety and Emergency. So and law enforcement and everything comes under him there. So that let's. I will just. All I'm doing right now is saying to them that you are here, and they are seeking an appointment with you. So that's all I can say to them right now. It's their office who can book appointment, not my office who can book appointment for them. No, I can't do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he's asking you to book appointment. I think he's asking you to just share the information, tell them the importance of what we've
that
been
when
talking about
we-
because
when we
the
come to
petition
do
needs
that-
to be
I will
brought
say you
forth.
came
Yeah.
here, and
And we'll
basic thing I will say that, and I can't say that I understand this file. No, I can't.
Oh, no, no,
I
yeah.
will need some time to
Yeah, to go through it. Yeah.
Two big thick ones here.
Yeah.
There is a lot involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of
More
Just
than
so we
this, yeah.
we can condense that information,
Yeah.
send them something
Yeah.
a bit more concise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
makes
they're not
sense.
caught by
Yeah.
surprise or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They have an
Yeah.
understanding. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, in the meantime, I'll take an appointment. But in the meantime, I want to talk to them. But they need to get something done quickly to protect against retaliation because it's happened. Like you saw, they stole my house. They've destroyed me. They have people that are coming after me. And the civilian review. This is one of the biggest things that I brought forward in the petition. Under Article 6, Section 92, Subsection 14 of the Constitution Act 1867. The administration of justice is under the exclusive control of the legislative assemblies of each province. Now, when you come to the RCMP with their contracting, and this is where it is unconstitutional, there is no ability for Alberta to discipline the RCMP. They send it to Ottawa. That right there is a violation of the Constitution Act. Now, when you look at Part 7, Section 52, Subsection 1 of the Constitution Act 1982, the Supremacy Clause, anything that contradicts that means that law is of no force. For the purpose of provincial and local policing in the province of Alberta, the RCMP is of no force because the Legislative Assembly of Alberta does not have exclusive control, and that would include discipline of members that are out of line. And so because of this, There is no way that I can go ahead to get them criminally restrained, right? So when I sit down and I'm dealing with, and I bring forth something of torture where RCMP members are involved, like I had to fight to get even that complaint, because they're like, well, we can't take criminal complaints against members. But I'm like, this is torture. Who else am I supposed to go to report this to? Right? They say go to the Civilian Review and Complaints Commission. And I have piles and piles of evidence that they covered up. And I watched another lawyer talk about how they covered up. They don't do anything. So this has to be rectified, because you have literally the brown shirts running down. Their allegiance is to the federal crown, not the provincial crown, and they can act in whatever interest, and they know that nobody is going to deal with them or discipline them. When you have no effective controls, you breed corruption. It's the same thing with the judges. The Canadian Judicial Council, it's not worth the paper it's written on. You make a complaint against the judge, there's no repercussions. When a judge conceals criminal activity, they are liable for it, and they should be punished accordingly. They are human beings, and they are subject to the law. When you have the civil court system, if the criminal legal system is not overseeing the civil court system, you are going to then create a vacuum where organized crime will penetrate. And CSIS has come out publicly and said every level of government, going all the way back to Mulroney, has been under the influence of the CCP. And then now you have so much organized crime rampant in this country now. The judges need to be restrained. They fully well need to be restrained, because they have no control. And whenever you have a poor control system mechanism, you are going to have abuse. It happens every time.
So Gina, you got everything there from them? And this one,
one more thing
the constituent request, did you sign that one?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah. And do you have any like picture ID or ID card that I can keep on file?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so just...
Would you like mine as well?
Sure.
Yeah, ship it out to both of the constituency
Because
office.
I'm collecting them.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get you to sign this.
So send it to both of the constituency office there, and then they will try to
Here's my
contact him
Métis
with the
card.
appointment. And mention that they need to seek appointment
Yeah.
from both of the ministries. See what they say.
Because they should.
And where do you, I'm just asking here, where do you live though?
Well, right now I'm staying in Chestermere because my house was stolen. Right, I'm from Saskatchewan.
And where do you live?
Singh. That's my dad.
Okay.
It's my dad,
So
yeah.
what it is there, I will do it. No problem at all.
Yes.
I will do it, and I'm happy to do this now. No worries about that. They might sometimes they do ask that you do have to go to your the constituency MLA, which is Chantal.
Chantal, but Chantal, she doesn't take my calls. She won't take appointments because I talked to her about this, and she does not like me. Let's put it that way. So she's refusing to deal with it.
But I'm just saying that
I know.
they usually send the constituent to their respective MLAs.
If they will direct her to take an appointment and deal with it, then that would be a different story.
But I will do whatever I can do. I will
Yes.
do right now. I will just send it to both the constituency offices there that you are in my office. You came here and you're seeking an appointment with them, and does both of you. And I really, I do like to hear this kind of stories here. I feel so bad about it. You know that is happening in Canada, in
Yes.
Alberta here.
And I have
just
This is not even the tip of the iceberg. We have audio, video, footage, and everything else like that. Documentary, hundreds of thousands of pages of documents that I've collected over the last 5 years of all of this stuff. And this is one of the reasons why none of these people want me to walk in there to speak, because there's no word they could say otherwise. Because I talked to the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Saskatchewan. And I told them, I said, you go get your 5 best engineers and let's have this conversation about the engineering controls of the public. And they wanted to have no business because he had to admit that I was right. And what did they do? They stayed silent while everybody's businesses were destroyed. Same with here with the professional engineers of Alberta, the geoscientists of Alberta. They stayed silent while the federal government...
So this is in Saskatchewan?
Yes. And Alberta got involved because they...
So you,
concealed
right now you live in Chestermere?
Yes.
But all your ID and everything it belongs
I was
to?
just student. It didn't change, right?
Okay.
So the fact of the matter is that I couldn't go back to Saskatchewan because of the threat of torture, and I want to go back to Saskatchewan. I'd like to go and get my daughter.
Just to make a note, I'm just want to make sure. Make a note that he lives in in Chestermere though.
Yeah.
Even though she lives in.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Okay.
My youngest daughter,
Mm-hmm.
who is going to be 7 in February 9th.
Okay.
I haven't seen her for 5.5 years as a result of this. Right? She was taken, she was abducted in violation of the criminal code before this hearing, and then they transferred custody and took the house I was living in, everything,
Yeah.
while I was strapped to a bed being drugged against my will. And the court had directed the RCMP to keep me out of court. And this is what their occurrence reports say. This is judicial interference. And then they did away with the COVID case because the RCMP failed to investigate when they had a public interest where I told them that people will die as a result of this. Right? And they concealed it here in Alberta.
Let's send it to the constituency office and send it to ministry office too. So they have to somehow the other they have to give some time to listen to him and see where they will go. They're the ministers. They have the authority to make decisions.
Well, yes. And
I'm the MLA.
I understand.
I'm not a minister of any respective justice system.
We just wanted to also bring this forward because what is involved in there is Pastor Art Pulowski as well, and his church is in your
this,
area.
Yes.
So
this
it is all kind of connected.
Yes.
No problem. No problem.
So it's very important.
No. Thank you very much for coming here. No problem. No issues here.
Based on with the petition for redress of grievances, I don't know if you're familiar. This comes from our Westminster parliamentary system from the UK, going back a few hundred years, and I actually cite some of the common law going back to 1680 and so forth that was brought into our system, and it's protected under Section 2 as well, and then strengthened by Article 13 with the right to complain. This needs to be brought publicly and put on the public record in the Legislative Assembly and needs to be read into the floor.
Yeah, please talk to them and see where they're staying. They have to understand everything because both of them will give enough time there.
Yes.
They have lawyers in their office as well who can go through, understand more what's going on.
Yes.
So it is a lot to digest. Let's put it this way.
Yes.
Yeah,
But this should be based on this. Because it goes to the government and deals with things that only the government can deal with, and their legislative issues, this needs to be read and this needs to be put on the public record. It needs to be filed with the law clerk of the House, because I brought one to the Sergeant of Arms last year and nothing was done with it.
Yeah.
And so wherever it got, it cannot happen again.
Yeah.
And now there are more people who are being subjected to this, and especially watching Derek with his young child. I understand having my family destroyed and a young child being destroyed by what was going on by the government. I don't want another human being to go through that again.
Yeah.
Because what happened to me is happening to other people, and it will become more prevalent if something is not done to restrain it.
That's it. They do have investigators in their team as well. So there's a lot of things. They have the resources to look into more deeply into it rather than on the surface.
Yeah.
And this is really, really big thing, actually, I would say. It's a huge... And they have all the...
Go ahead.
Yeah, they have all the investigators which they can assign something in and see if where the problem... Is the problem right now here or not?
But now with this... under the convention, how it has to be dealt with, to be in accordance with it, is that the people that are involved for having about the complaint about the cruel and unusual punishment and the torture, they have to be protected.
Yeah.
While the investigations ensue. That means that they need to have to start pausing things until they can start sorting this out, because they cannot allow the judicial system to continue to attack people and destroy them, or the law enforcement. They have to protect them from retaliation. And we have a long history of retaliation. And that has to happen immediately, because that is in the Convention Against Torture, that has not yet happened.
Yep.
So for all other people, myself, my daughter, for Arthur, his family, and Derek and his family, this needs to be dealt with, right? Because when I served this on the Crown, then I got something back from the Saskatchewan Crown the same day, and then the RCMP Constable Boudreau, who refused to investigate the human trafficking or send it to the division that would, in the RCMP, that would oversee something nationally and across borders. He refused to send that information.
You're referring to RCMP many times. It
Yes.
is this happened in Chestermere, that area, or
This is
Chestermere is RCMP.
Yes, Turner Valley, because we had to go because
Turner Valley is RCMP.
because we had to go and report to the jurisdiction
Yeah.
that it happened.
Yeah.
But realistically, with human trafficking, you can go in anywhere.
Anyway, I don't understand.
But they've lied to us over and over again. Like
Yeah.
we've talked to 100 different people, 100 different answers.
Yeah.
Right.
So Calgary and Edmonton, Calgary has got its own police force. So Calgary is Calgary, Edmonton
Yes.
is Edmonton police force. I think Lethbridge is their own police force as well.
Yes.
And other Grand Prairie is Alberta Sheriffs. It went to Alberta Sheriffs now. I think
Yes.
so. The other ones is still RCMP.
Yes.
So if something happens in Chestermere,
Yeah.
it is jurisdictions of RCMP.
Yes, but there needs to be a better mechanism on dealing with this because we've had a lot of issues. And then I've even made reports about what's happened in Calgary. They didn't do anything. And this is why I was taking them to court.
Yeah.
Because the Calgary police refused to deal with the investigation and so forth. And then, you had the Attorney General of Canada, and it's coming in there, shows that they clearly lied.
There is some things there, the protocols there that Calgary police force can't.
No,
go
but when I report
into-
something that happens in their jurisdiction,
Yeah.
they're supposed to deal with it.
Yeah, in Calgary. So if there is something happen in Tenor Valley, honestly, I think that's why I'm saying Mike Ellis will be better guy and Mickey will be better guy, because if something happens in Tenor Valley, Calgary Police Force has to take permission from RCMP to go and investigate that area.
Well, this is
So-
what they need to do is because there's so many jurisdictions involved, this should have never been at a detachment level.
Yeah.
And this is what the issue did. And the Crown that got the information
Mm-hmm.
from because I don't know what Boudreau handed over, but the Crown that got that, and then what we gave this
Mm-hmm.
to the Crown, the one that was dealing with Derek Reimer's case to make him aware of what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
they could not, in good conscience or in good faith, sit down and say that they're not going to proceed with anything without having a full understanding of the entire case and how that fits into it, right? Because in doing so, they made a grave error and they are now liable. But because they don't have any mechanisms to deal with this, these people should be prosecuted because even I've talked to some of the RCMP, they're tired of seeing that these people, that they're getting protection for the criminals. Because there are RCMP that want to do their job, just like there's RCMP that don't.
Yeah.
So why are we living in a lawless society when people are admitting what they're doing and they're getting protection, and then the RCMP are refusing to follow protocol on how to investigate something and then try to lie about it?
The other something also, the provincial government has brought some bills there on the human trafficking as well. There, I think Mike Ellis brought it in. We have to.
Definitely we'll definitely contact the two ministry offices.
Yeah, send it to them.
And-
And please,
yeah.
on your side,
Yes.
you have to, they would, like, if you go in right away, they might not be able to there because they're not there right now.
Yes.
They're in Edmonton. Like, I was supposed to be in Edmonton too.
Yes.
So,
I'll
just set up
talk-
appointments and next week, anytime you're open, give your appointment for next week
I'll
or something.
contact his assistant.
Yeah. Just go there directly, or
Where's
if you
Mike,
can call them.
where's Mike Ellis's office?
Can you
I
give?
can send that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, just bring it right now and
Yeah.
give to them, and then at least you people will know that where to go and call them. Information is there. So and set up appointment, and then say next week you're open, or after next week whatever is there, you open to go and visit them and just explain the case to them and what is their suggestions, what their recommendations are there to go for here. sometimes there is a lot of things there in all these the court cases and the laws there that we are not aware of it unless we start to open up and see what's inside here.
And the worst thing about this, the media,
Yeah.
has been like the CBC, CTV Global. They've been aware of this for years and said nothing.
Yep.
They are complicit, right? Because these type of things only occur because they're hidden.
Yep.
And I've received, and my daughter's received so much suppression wherever you went, even in the United States when she was there.
There is something there, you should not stay silent. If there is something bad has happened here, which is unacceptable in our society, this is a thank you so much for coming out and sharing with us here. And please, I think Minister Mike Ellis and Minister Mickey Amiri will definitely will give you time and try to understand what is there inside here and what can be done.
This also, Danielle Smith needs to be made aware of this.
Yes, she does.
She does. This is something.
So this is they're both the ministers and they're very senior ministers. I think Minister Mike Ellis is deputy premier as well. So
Yes.
you going to the right place, and there is the deputy premier,
Yes.
second in command in Alberta. When premier is not there, he is the premier. He's acting premier. So he is the deputy premier as well. So yeah, he has to understand better because he's the minister of public safety and emergencies there, and this law enforcement comes underneath him. Not the RCMP. I'm not. Is the RCMP is underneath the federal government?
But they're still they still have the ability, because I know they deal with ACER. My sister used to work for the RCMP.
Yeah.
She worked at the Stephen Duckton building, and she integrated a lot with the people at ACER in her job.
Yeah.
So they could order an investigation, which they should.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
what you're looking
I
at.
said is underneath him for sure.
Yes.
Sorry to cut out, but I said is
Yes.
underneath him. Yeah.
This warrants the fact that they are complicit to not only just because a former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency, General Michael Flynn, looked at my engineering report and some of the supporting documents, and he made a public statement and said that it was a grave national security concern that needed to be addressed, and that's in there.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you have a former director of a defense intelligence agency of the United States under the Obama administration saying that this is a grave national security concern to the United States,
Yeah.
and it's also a concern to Canada, this cannot be no longer, this is no way that this can stay in this situation. Because somebody who is a general and understands these types of things, and the fact that they came out and talked about COVID being gain of function, and the engineering controls, this is how you spread something that, or mitigate or spread something of that sort. This is a huge concern. And this could have averted a lot of jobs being destroyed, a lot of people's lives being destroyed. If you had 80%, at least 80% of your infection controls for an aerosolized pathogen is through engineering controls. That would have eliminated a lot of
This is
things.
Mike Ellis.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Call them, set an appointment with them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
please go and share and make sure you have 1 hour because this is not 5-minute job.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It needs like a few hours.
All
Just
right.
say 1 hour. I need 1 hour, and go there. Both places. Please go both places.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh, Shannon, thank you so much. Yeah.
I know Tora Tora.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
I lived in India for Jay Mahina.
Oh,
Jamina.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess. Oh, is that his office? Okay, we're gonna call and go out.
Well, I wasn't sure, but I was like, I'm just know. But you know, sometimes you can understand it even if you don't speak though.
Oh no, I speak and understand fully though. No problem. You know, I will
very
give you
cool.
I
some
like to
of-
practice it when I
I
get
will give you some of my cards here.
Okay.
So please,
Until this Tuesday work for you,
Yeah.
16?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the morning.
Yeah, maybe like 10.
Yep, that'll work.
And if
thank
in
you.
my constituency, you're close here, if somebody needs help on the age income support, PDD, or anything else, please send them to my way here.
Okay.
And,
Thank you.
And please go there and let's set an appointment and hope for the best. And you know what? That's all we can do right now. And definitely.
What's your name again?
Regina.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Regina.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Okay, do you want to explain kind of what we just did?
We just passed it off to the MLA in Archer Pulaski Friday. We're going to have a sit-down meeting where he instructed us to go and speak to other ministers and that something needs to be dealt with. And so we're going to keep continuing to go and get something done because this is important. So we'll be off to the next place and we'll be with you guys again shortly.
Okay, sounds good.
What was the MLA of Pastor Art?
Oh,
I can't remember her name.
hello friends, my name is Keisha and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. And I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. My trafficking began in Saskatchewan, moved into Alberta, and even crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems over the last 5 years that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father Dale Richardson, we started the Caris Project. This is an Indigenous, survivor-led movement for humanity dedicated to exposing trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. One of the most powerful tools that we are using is the petitions for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in Canadian and US law, and in treaties that tie us together across provinces, across states, and even across borders. These petitions are precedent-setting. They create a binding record. They demand accountability while representing reconciliation in action. Indigenous and non-Indigenous people working side by side to preserve liberty for all. But we cannot do this alone. We need your help to keep this movement alive, to raise awareness and to build a legacy of justice for Indigenous women, for trafficking survivors, and for families everywhere. Thank you. Please stand with us. Your support makes this work possible. Together we can restore justice, heal families, and defend freedom. And I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who cannot be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. And men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall. Thank you.